Dear students, this is Mahesh Javalkar from Marathon Polytechnic, and today I am posting my new video on applications of electronic engineering, in which I am going to speak about QR codes. Okay, so let's start with the heading. So the heading of today's topic is QR code. QR means quick response code, and the code looks as shown below. So it is like a square type of format in which you have black dots on a white background. Okay, so it is all square type of formats in black color on a white background. So it will be this type of format which will be seen for a QR code. Now in this contains we are going to see what is a QR code, scanning of a QR code, encoding modes used in a QR codes, a QR code generator, a comparison between QR codes and barcodes, advantages of QR codes, and applications of QR codes. So let's start to know with what is QR code. So QR code, the abbreviation of QR is quick response code. Okay. Then QR code is an abbreviation for quick response code. So the response is quick after you scan. Okay. So QR codes often contain data for a locator, identifier, or tracker that points to a website or application. This is a very important definition. QR codes will contain data, that is a message or a link, or whatever it is, for a locator, identifier, or a tracker that points to a website or application. Okay, so that data, whatever is there in the QR code, will point to a link of a website or application. Okay, so here, if you see the elaborated definition of it, you can see that a QR code consists of black black squares arranged in a square grid on a white background. So you can see here, you can see all these black squares which are arranged on a white background. So this picture shows you black squares on a white background. So a QR code consists of black squares arranged in a square grid on a white background, which can be read, that is scanned, okay, which can be read by an imaging device such as camera and processed using Reed-Solomon error correction. So this method is used. Reed-Solomon error correction method is used for its processing. So here Reed-Solomon error correction method. This is used for its error correction until the image can be appropriately interpreted, until you get the exact data out, until you identify what is the data in it. Till then, the Reed-Solomon error correction will be processed. The required data is then extracted from patterns that are present in both horizontal and vertical components of the image. So this image is a square type of image in which you can have horizontal and vertical components. So it is not like only vertical lines as you see in barcode. So here you can have horizontal and vertical components both. So a QR code pattern, as I've told you earlier, will be looking somewhat like this. So you will be having a square type of pattern as shown here. So this is a square type of pattern. You can see that. So here it is a square type in which you can have black black type of squares and small lines, black lines, or black formats or black dots, okay, on a white background. So this is a square, this is a square in which you can have this format, and these three squares will usually be there, this one in any format. Okay, so you can see here one square, so this square is there, and you can see one square here. So this square also you can see. So these three squares will be there in most of the formats. Okay. And then you have a complete square type of pattern in which you have black color lines or dots on a white background. Okay. So if you see the scanning way of a QR code, you can see that a QR code can be read both horizontally and vertically by an imaging device. Okay, imaging device such as camera, smartphone with a built-in camera, or QR scanner. So you can have a special a camera to read it, or you can have a smartphone with an application of built-in a camera which can scan, or you can have a QR scanner. Okay, so all these type of machines, all these type of devices can read both horizontally and vertically a QR code. It is a machine readable optical label that contains the information about the item, object, or product to which it is attached. So on whichever product or item or object it is been attached, the information of that can be read by scanning the QR code. Now, if you see this picture, there is a QR code here on the screen of a system. So here you can see there is a QR code, and that QR code can be scanned by your mobile. And here you can see the mobile is scanning the QR code, and with that it will understand which location to go, or which URL to go, or which link to go, or which destination to go, or what is the text in that. Anything, whatever you have stored as an information there, can be scanned and read by the scanner. So here you can see, after scanning, the imaging device converts the dots within the code into numbers or a string of characters. For example, scanning a QR code using your mobile may open a URL. It is a link in your phone's web browser. So you can go to a link. You don't have to type the link. You just have to scan the QR code. You can go to the link. Okay. All QR codes are in the form of a square shape, which defines the orientation of the code and thus makes each code unique in itself. No two QR codes have similar pattern. So we have to remember this. No two QR codes are similar. Okay, so they don't have similar pattern. Now, what are the encoding methods or encoding modes used in QR codes? Okay, so a QR code uses four standardized encoding modes. It can encode its data in numeric form. It can encode its data in alphanumeric form. It can encode its data in byte or binary form, or it can encode its data in kanji mode for double byte, okay, to store data efficiently. And extension may also be used for storing, okay. So these are the way the data is encoded in QR codes, okay. Now here we will see what do we mean by a QR code generator. In today's world, there are many softwares available freely on your net, which will help you to generate your own QR code. Okay, so a QR code generator is a software which stores data into a QR code. So there in that software, it will ask you the data which you want to store. Once you scan the code, you should get that data. Okay, that data can be a link, a website link. The data can be a message. The data can be a information. Data can be anything. That data you have to type in your software in that space where the data is given, and then that particular pattern you have to choose, and you can also color that pattern. You can have even red color or mixing colors for the code, and then that particular code pattern will be scanning, and that particular code pattern will contain that particular information what you have typed. So every time if you want that information, you have to just scan the QR code. If you scan it, you will get the information. Okay, so here we can see a QR code generator is a software which stores data into a QR code. For example, a text or a website address. Example, this can be easily done with a online QR generator like goqr.me. This is one of the softwares. There are many softwares on your net which are available. Just create a QR code by typing in your data and download it as high resolution PNG type of format or vector graphic. Now you may print your free QR code or embed it on your website to make it available to others. Then when others scan that particular QR code, they will get that data or that information or that link, whatever you have stored for that format, they will get that just by scanning that format. They don't have to type the things. Okay. So it is a quick response. Now, if you go to compare what are QR codes and barcodes. So here first I've shown you the picture of QR codes and barcodes. So here you can see these are the QR codes and this is barcode. Okay, this is barcode. Okay. So QR code will be both horizontally and vertical format, whereas barcodes will be vertical format, which is scanned horizontally. Okay. So if you see the detailed comparison between QR codes and barcodes, the first parameter what we can compare between them is appearance. So as it is, as you see them, both the barcode and QR code are different in their appearance. If you see here, this is your QR code and this is your barcode as shown here. This is your QR code and this is barcode. Okay, so the appearance itself says that the QR code is like a square format in which you have black lines and squares on a white background, whereas barcode are vertical black lines. Okay, so QR code can be scanned vertically and horizontally, whereas barcode should be scanned horizontally. Okay, so here appearance, they look very different from each other in the formation. Okay, a barcode, if you see, it is a first generation linear barcode or one dimensional barcode. You can also have 2D barcodes that is represented by some lines and spaces of various parallel widths that create specific patterns. Whereas if you see the pattern of a QR code, it is a modern generation matrix barcode or two-dimensional barcode that is represented by some rectangles, dots, hexagons, and other geometric patterns. Okay. So this first point is the comparison of QR code and barcode in their appearance, how the format looks. Then we can go to see the second parameter, information holding capacity. Okay, which one will hold more information? So obviously a QR code will be having more information as compared to barcode. Okay, but what exactly it is we see here, a barcode. A barcode can hold between 8 to 25 characters, but as the information rises, the size of the barcode also gets bigger. The information which a barcode can store is description, item identification, pricing, tracking information, etc. So the basic information of a product can be stored in a barcode. Whereas if you see a QR code can hold between 1 to 2000 characters, 1 to 2000 characters of encoded data, whereas barcode was holding only 8 to 25 characters. So 1 to 2000 characters of encoded data can be held by the QR code. The information which a QR code can store is inventory tracking, sales registry, supply chain management, mobile marketing, and logistics. So extra information because extra data you can store. The added perk of a QR codes is the possibility of encoding images or links onto it. Then the third parameter, what you can see is the error correction. Okay. Now, if a barcode is say little damaged here and there, that cannot be scanned properly or that cannot be scanned at all and you don't get the information. Whereas if QR code is damaged somewhere here and there, but still if a part of the code also is available, it can be useful for identifying what the information is in that. Okay. So the third parameter here will be error correction, in which we will say the level of a customization and error correction is completely different for a barcode and a QR code. So in case of a barcode, linear barcodes are less tolerant of damage and printing defects. So they are less tolerant. If they are damaged or if there is any printing defect, you cannot scan them, you cannot get the information. This condition is due to the lack of redundant encoding and error correction codes. So encoding also is not so superior here, and also the error correction codes are not so effective here. So that is why this problem takes place. Either joining of two stripes or erasing one strip altogether will make it impossible to decode a linear or one-dimensional barcode. Okay, so even if it is damaged or even if it something is missing in that, you cannot get the data correctly in barcode. Whereas in a QR code, the supreme advantage of a QR code over the first generation barcode is its error margin that ranges from 7 to 30%. That means the QR code has error correction ability. This is very important. The QR code has error correction ability and can restore data if the code is dirty or damaged. So even if the code, the pattern which you're going to scan is torn somewhere, or if it is dirty, or if it is damaged, even that takes place, even then it can scan the format and get the data of that format. Okay. Then fourth parameter is readability. So in case of barcodes, you can see linear barcodes can hold just a few dozen of characters. The barcode scanners can read barcodes horizontally and do not need any contact with barcode, but it should be within the range of 4 to 24 inches of scan. This is the limitation what you have while reading the barcode. Okay. For a QR codes, a QR codes can hold more data than barcodes, that is up to 2000 characters, and still manage to appear physically small. This is a wonderful idea in this. The pattern of QR code is small, but it will be storing more data as compared to barcode. Okay. The data encoded is based on both the vertical and horizontal arrangement of the QR pattern, that is two-dimensional. You can use the information either way while connected to a database or not. A QR code scanners can read from over 3 feet away, providing the user more flexibility in their use. So you can read, you can scan the pattern from 3 feet away also. This is not the case in case of barcode. So a readability in barcode and QR code is having a vast difference. Okay. Then we'll go to see what are the advantages of our QR codes. Now these advantages we have already seen when we saw the features. Now the quick response system became popular due to its fast readability. This is the first thing. And second thing is greater storage capacity. These are the two important advantages of QR codes as compared to other standard UPC barcodes. If you go to see detailed advantages, you can say that advantages of QR codes are as follows. Scanning possible by smartphone. Okay, so you can scan the pattern with the help of smartphone. Second one is versatility. It can encode almost all types of data like numeric, alphabets, special, binary and all. It can extremely fast scanning can be achieved here. A QR code has good fault tolerance. If a part of the code is damaged, information can still be decoded from the code. It can store large amount of information. So all these are advantages of your QR code, and these advantages are as compared to the barcodes. Okay. Then what are the applications of QR codes? The applications includes product tracking, item identification, time tracking, or document management, and general marketing. Okay. So these are a few applications which are told, but they are very useful formats. You can easily get the data. It is really a quick response pattern, a quick response code. Okay. Thank you, students.